Okay, that's it for the announcements. Om Sahanā-Vavatu, Sahanā-Bhunaktu, Saha Vīryam Karavā-vahai, Tejas Vinā Vadhīta Mastu, Ma Vidvishā-Vahai. Om Shānti, Shānti, Shāntihi. On below Sakuru Sivananda Maharaj Ki. For all the saints and sages of all the traditions. Hariho Tatsat. Okay, let's pick up. Our dear sister Atmajoti made a comment yesterday that best we were talking about opposing thoughts and use of opposing thoughts. And she made a comment that she quite enjoyed being free of thought and simply being present. And we said, yes, that's correct. And the reason for the techniques, the approaches that we're working with here is to get to that place. So, is to have enough. What is enough? Enough is full control over one's mind, over one's thoughts, and understanding of the utilization of thought power and how to use. There's an idea of being free of thoughts, but that's a personal goal. That's what I want. And the only way for me to have what I want is to offer it. I get what I give. When I strive to get something, I don't get it. And that's important to understand in terms of the law. This is why in every tradition we have the law stated thus. Golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In the Jewish tradition, so beautifully stated that do not give to another what you would not wish for yourself. Beautiful, yes? So in Peace Pilgrim, in her teaching, she shares very clearly, she says, if you want peace, you will not have it. But if you offer it, you will. As long as we're grasping. So at some point when we have clarity and we begin to see, which is, at some point along the way, and the personal goals are very helpful to us for a while, certainly. I mean, we learn. I wanted a car. Did it make me happy? No. I got 50 of them. Did any of them make me happy? No. I wanted money. I got money. It wasn't enough. I wanted more money. I got more money. It wasn't enough. So we have to have them. Mm-hmm. We have to have them because they're the means for learning. But then to say, okay, I want peace, as in I want a situation here where I am at peace. Ultimately, that has to become, and it will become, because we'll hit a blockage. So it will become. I want all to have peace. Yes, I want all to have peace. And so I have my role in it. But if it's for my peace, then I will fail. I'll ultimately fail. Yeah. Although you could say it a different way. You could say, I will succeed when I come to the place where I say, I want everyone to be at peace, and I want to play my role in it.
Really find peace.
And the sages and saints, are they not using thought? No, that's not correct. They are using thought. They are using thought. Are they identified with the thought? And you see that's the difference. Absolutely not identified with the thought. But are they thinking? Are they bringing thought? Are they utilizing thought for constructive means? Are they utilizing thought and words and actions in order to bring peace to those who are at the place of being able to listen to them? Yes, right? Yeah. Okay.
Thought, word, deed.
So there's a wish to be free of the thought, those thoughts that are bedeviling us, and so this is the way. But interestingly enough, much of Swami Sivananda's focus here has been how to replace thought as what? As an offering. How to bring uplifting thought. And uplifting thought, part of it, yeah, you can say, it's inspiring and uplifting to say to ourselves and to experience, I am free, I am ever free. I am Anandoham, I am that Ananda. Shivoham, I am that Shiva. I am the stainless one. Yes, those are all beneficial. They're all beneficial. And they're not actually self-centered, interestingly enough, in the traditional sense of... but also inspiring thoughts have to do with compassion and what is our offering. Oh, okay, so we'll pick up here. And of course, the fruit ultimately is the disidentification of thought, but also the offering of beneficial thought. Both of these, they're related. So thought control by a positive attitude. Try to acquire the power of closing yourself against detrimental or undesirable thoughts. Now, our tendency is to try to close ourselves against undesirable or detrimental people or experiences. Right?
It's inevitable.
But here, he's saying, try to close yourself against detrimental or undesirable thoughts and influences by making yourself positive by a particular attitude of mind. So he's actually addressing our want, which is to be free of negative influences, which we've taken to be outside of us. And in a way they are because we're not the thoughts. Mm-hmm. We're wearing the thoughts. But he gives the technique of doing it, which is to make yourself positive by a particular attitude of the mind. By doing so, you may be receptive to all higher impulses of the soul within and to all higher forces and influences from without. So he gives a suggestion. He says, make a suggestion to yourself. I close myself, I make myself positive to all things below and open and receptive to all higher influences, to all things above. So I'll read this one more time and then we can share how we relate to that, how we relate to what he's sharing. So he gives this, he quotes, he's giving us a suggestion that we can give to ourselves. I close myself, I make myself positive to all things below and open and receptive to all higher influences, to all things above. Mm-hmm. So we can, after we talk for a minute, we can check, and if anyone online is joining us live and wants to say how you hear that, we'll check in with you. So what are you hearing from that?
I hear it, I observe the world, and it's how I perceive that I bring into my thought. If I perceive it as being the way it's supposed to be, and with acceptance of people, places, and things, I don't get swayed one way or the other. So those negative things that people, places, and things bring to the table have no effect on me internally, because I just see it as part of the play.
Okay.
And the higher comes because I'm at peace with the world.
Okay, very good. That's yeah. So break it down and let's see if we understand what he's saying, what's underlying it, and how it fits. So he says, I close myself, I make myself positive to all things below. So just take that. Mm-hmm. Hari or Shivadas.
So I hear from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there's those 4 ways to relate, interacting with the world, depending on where they are at.
But here the world is including your own thoughts, the thoughts that you're entertaining, that are coming to you. So yes, it's true. I'm just saying yes, inclusive of thoughts, that not just outside, physically outside.
Right.
Okay, yes.
So those two are the two extremes of the indifference towards the wicked,
Yeah.
and the delight towards the wise.
Right. So you hear it. So you hear that here. Yeah.
So indifference would mean to close yourself in a way. So it's a way you don't let them affect.
Right. And then that's inclusive of wicked thoughts that come to you.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Oh, okay. Very good. Here, and then the last part, and receptive to all higher influences, to all things above. Shivadas?
Yeah, just opening up to which teacher are you surrendering to? Are you surrendering to ego, or are you surrendering to spirit?
Yeah, very good. Okay. So, and positive beneficial thoughts, such as charitable thoughts and compassion, concepts of compassion, all of that. Open myself to all things above. So, yeah, you said as well, right? Anything?
Padmajyoti is saying, as I hear the quote, I relate as Ashlesha Nakshatra with the Nagas and Sharpas for my Phoenix continue rising.
Very good. Okay, very good.
Connect with the central sun and Gaia sun. Thanks for allowing this thought.
Oh, very good.
Shira saying, I like how open to the lower positive.
Open to the positive. He didn't say lower positive. He says close to the lower, so close to the instinctive, the body-centered thoughts and such.
So all lower is not necessarily bad, just saying.
Listen literally to what he's saying. I close myself, I make myself positive to all things below. So all things that arise from below, I remain positive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Doesn't mean receptive.
Right.
Unswayed, you could say like that, unswayed. So remaining positive, so if we practice santosha, and this is one of the practices that is shared with us in yoga, yes?
Yes.
Practice of contentment. And Swami Sivananda has been talking about that as well. If we practice contentment and something arises which says, I am in need, then what do I do with that?
We can bring the truth.
Yeah, so
In
I remain positive.
What you said the other day is, I've been utilizing is when a thought comes up that's in that lower realm, I just say stop.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
actually functions.
Very good. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue. By taking this attitude of the mind consciously, now and then, it soon becomes a habit. All the lower and undesirable influences from both the seen and the unseen sides of life are closed out, while all higher influences are invited. One more example as we move on, and that is this question of problem or opportunity, which we're dealing with so much in this time, so much, for all of us, to look at a situation as happening to me, being perpetrated by another, and the situation itself being a problem, is actually a negative outlook. Doesn't mean bad,
Right.
but it means uninspired. It does mean that. Not non-intuitive. It does mean that. It means reactive. So reactive in a limited way. So rajas, tamas.
Mm-hmm.
To look at what happens, which seems like a problem, to look at it as an opportunity, to have the bhava or attitude of it being an opportunity, and to ask the question, what can I learn from this, is being positive to that which is below. Okay.
What can I contribute that's positive to it
Oh,
also?
how can I see it? How can I look at it in a positive way?
Oh,
How can I look at it in a beneficial way? And of course, we have our quote back here on the wall telling us that we're to look at everything that comes to us as coming directly from the hands of God. And so, which means for our own benefit, for our own growth, for our own evolution. So also a way to relate positively. And this is a practice too. If we really resolve to see things this way, and we've dealt earlier in Bhagavad Gita and here in Thought Power, we've dealt with resolve and the power of resolve in conjunction with will. Resolve and will are together. They're utilizing both the will, which is, Swami Sivananda says, soul force, and the intellect. They're not the same. The intellect, the conscious mind, or vivek, is the choice, the discriminative faculty, and the choice that's resulting. And then with that choice, how badly do we want it? Is it hair on fire, or is it would be nice? And that's relating to the will, right? How much strength of will do you invest in it? How much focus do you put on it? Right? How much determination do you have about it? Yes? Yeah. So that relates to willpower. And resolve is the two. You make a decision, you resolve. How firm is the resolve?
yes.
Right? How firm is the resolve? If you tell yourself, if it comes to this, and you're really serious and firm that I will, no matter what happens, do this. No matter what happens, even under penalty of death, even with physical pain, this is most important, and I will do this. Can you see? Then that same effect, the banana effect, which is if the resolve is strong and you make the mistake, which is you don't remember. So you say, I resolve to myself never to look at things as problems again, for example. And this is this practice.
Yeah.
Never to look at things as problems again. And so you take a strong resolve within yourself. You say, Swami, this is so incredibly important. I will bring my will to it. I'm going to feel this willpower now. I'm going to resolve strongly. I will see this way. This is more important to me than anything. So let's say. And what happens, of course, is you made the resolve, and when something happens and the thought is this is a problem and someone did it to me, of course, it won't be there. But what happens is afterwards, you get the reflection, right? Because of the strength of will, you remember. You're beginning to cut a groove and you remember, this is what I wanted to do. And what do? You resolve again. If you really truly do, then over time, you don't look at things as problems anymore.
Right.
If you really apply the rules, if you really process it, then you don't. So this is exactly, it seems, what he's talking about when he says, I close myself, I remain positive to the things below, and open myself to that which is above. And above is its opportunity, its growth, its evolution, it's God doing it. It's not some other person. There is no other person. That's the intuitive voice speaking to us, saying this. Swami Sivananda is saying this in our own intuitive voice and saying it. So I open myself to it. So practice like this.
It becomes easier too.
Okay, continuing. We've clearly understood something, and here he says, in the mind there is a doubt, and there is reality also. A doubt arises whether there is a God or not. This is termed samsaya bhavana. Another doubt crops up whether I can realize Brahman or not. Then another voice tells God or Brahman is real. He is solid, concrete reality as an amalaka fruit in my hand. He is a mass of knowledge and ananda I can realize. So both of these thoughts, for sadhaka, both of these thoughts will come. Huh?
Yeah.
Very good. He says, we've clearly understood something, and these ideas are well grounded and ingrained, the latter. Some ideas are hazy and not firm. They come and go. We will have to cultivate ideas and ground them till they're firmly fixed and implanted. Clarification of ideas will remove perplexity and confusion in the mind. When a doubt arises, whether there is God or not, whether I will succeed in self-realization or not, it must be dispelled by well-directed suggestions and affirmations such as, it is true, I will succeed, there is no doubt of this. And then he quotes again, in my dictionary, in my vocabulary, there are no such words as can't, impossible, difficult, etc. Everything is possible under the sun. Nothing is difficult when you strongly make up your mind. Strong determination and firm resolution will bring sanguine success in every affair of undertaking, and particularly so in the conquest of mind. So understanding this, understanding strong resolution will always be successful. All you have to do is stay with it. Yeah. So the key is the strong resolve, and it's always successful. And so if you know that and apply it, then you will overcome these doubts.
Yeah, consistency.
You will. And where does that leave? That leaves the beautiful place that Atmajoti talks about, where one is resolved inside. And when one is resolved inside, then one becomes free of the thoughts. Yeah? Oh.
Negative thoughts just dissipate.
It's not a sea, not a conflicting sea any longer.
Oh.
And when it's not a conflicting sea, then we can say we know, or we can say we don't know, and it's fine, it means the same thing.
And then we look for the truth in the things, and we see it's God just doing.
Oh, okay, one more technique, and then we'll close for the morning. Non-cooperation, this is one of the favorites. We remember Gopala loving this one and really working with it. Necessary. Non-cooperate with the mind in its evil wanderings. Gradually, the mind will come under your control. Here's the practical method to non-cooperate with the mind. If the mind says, I must eat today sweetmeats, I must eat today chocolate or candy or whatever our favorite food is. If it says that, say unto the mind, I will not cooperate with you today. I will not eat that. I will eat only whatever, which is healthy. Here at Ashram, in this preparation for the summer, or in the beginning of summer and the travel's coming, we just chose to have every day khichdi. So every day, every meal will be khichdi. From today.
So when?
Not 2 years.
Yeah, a few years or so.
Doesn't agree with me. For some reason.
Oh, this is a good practice for you.
No, I got sick 3 times.
Don't think that. Yeah. Don't think that.
I know. I'm going with just a new recipe.
Oh, this is such a good practice.
It's a new recipe.
You can participate on the recipe.
No, I've already discussed this, so we already worked it out. Non-cooperation. So if the mind says, I must go to the cinema, say unto the mind, I will attend the satsanga of Swami Ramananda and hear his discourses on the Upanishads. If the mind says, I must wear a silk shirt, say unto the mind, I will not wear in the future any silk clothing. I will wear only cotton. And this is the method to non-cooperate with the mind. So not about everything, but about the things that it's asserting that are really habitual. It says, non-cooperation with the mind is swimming against the sensual currents. The mind will be thinned out, and gradually it will become your obedient servant. You will gain mastery over the mind. So it's not about conflicting thought. It's about being free of conflicting thought. The self-controlled person moving among the objects with senses under restraint and free from attraction and repulsion attains to peace. The mind and the senses are naturally endowed with the 2 currents of attraction and repulsion. Therefore, the mind, and that's Maya. That is Maya.
we remember mind and Maya are the same. And the mind itself, what we've experienced with it and what we've suffered from, is that the mind itself is as if pulling us towards that which it likes, don't say I like, towards that which it has developed a preference for. I am peace. I am peace. I am not the thoughts. I am not this mind. This mind has developed a view of the world under which there are objects, things separate from me and separate from God. And some are good and they bring pleasure, and some are bad and they bring pain. These concepts only exist in the mind. In reality, they have no place.
It's true.
And we learn, thank God we learn, that happiness is not the result of a life of pleasure and avoidance of pain. And we only learn it by trying.
You don't even require happiness in the end.
You are happiness.
Oh, that's why.
That's why.
Seek it.
That's why. Well, and there you go. There's an idea in the mind that happiness is to be acquired.
Right.
And that's also an error.
But you've learned not to even seek it anymore.
The mind learns.
The mind learns to behave.
The mind learns not to. You have to train it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but this is what we deal with, and everybody joining us in satsang is dealing with this at different levels, but we're seeing it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here tuning into satsang. I never joined satsang for how many years? I didn't have any interest in it whatsoever because I had my list and I was off and running. It's only for beginning to recognize something's wrong here. This isn't working the way it's supposed to.
No, please. No doubt.
And self-control, okay, we get it at some point. Okay, not running after this stuff, recognizing that it's just suffering. It's just pain after pain after pain. The things that we think are pleasant is just full of pain.
And we're stronger than the mind. That's the beautiful thing.
Thank God.
Yes.
It says, okay, the disciplined self has a very strong will. Therefore, the senses and mind obey his will. The disciplined self takes only those objects which are quite necessary for the maintenance of the body without any love or hatred. He never takes those objects which are forbidden by the Shastras. Okay, and we're going to just a little more. Art of thinning out the thoughts. One more technique. In the rubber plantations, planters take recourse to the method of thinning out the rubber trees by cutting the small surplus trees which stand in the vicinity of big trees. Mm-hmm. By doing so, they can tap more milk, the rubber juice, from the big trees. Even so, you must thin out the thoughts by destroying them one by one in order to drink the ambrosial milk or nectar of immortality. Just as you retain only the good fruits from your basket and discard the bad ones, so also keep good thoughts in your mind and reject the evil ones. Just as the warrior chops off the heads of the enemies one by one when they come out of a fortress through a trapdoor, so also chop off the thoughts one by one when they emerge out of the trapdoor to the surface of the mind. As we become more vigilant, then you can see them as they start to come out. That was what we were doing. I described the cloud popping yesterday. Yes. Thought popping. That's actually what it's dealing with is old thoughts that would start to emerge at different points. Just when the tail of the lizard is cut, the cut end will flutter about. This is a story or something he shares often, like this, that when the tail of a lizard is cut, and we don't have to go do this in order to get it, thank God, but some of us might have done it in childhood. I certainly did. So if the tail of the lizard is caught, the tail continues to flop like that. Until what? Until the prana is done. So, and he's using that to describe the same things happening with the negative limited thoughts, self-centered thought nature. That when you cut it, when you actually are taking control of that inner environment, and then if you choose to non-cooperate, to non-participate, with those that are bedeviling, those that are dragging us, then that's what we see. Sorry?
Eventually they stop wiggling.
Eventually they stop wiggling.
Want to rise up to the surface.
Oh.
But they're very weak.
Okay, we'll close. Page 174. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Mritor Mokshiyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Mritor Mokshiyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Mritor Mokshiyamamritat Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Shantu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashanto Makashit Dukhabhak Bhave Asuto Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mritor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shānti Shānti Shāntihi. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchidananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember thee. Let us ever sing thy glories. Let thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in thee forever and ever. And below Sri Sivananda Saraswati, and for all of the saints and sages of all the traditions. Okay, let's do